Moving forward is an act of faith, a negotiation with the unknown that is made possible by two humble sentinels, your knees. We rarely consider them until they speak to us through pain or stiffness. But this discomfort is more than a mechanical issue. It is a deep, ancient language from the soul. Across human history, from the Vedic sages of India and Homer's Iliad to Hebrew traditions and shamanic cultures, knees have been revered as sacred symbols. They are not merely joints, but bridges between body and earth, desire and path, and portals for emotional and spiritual energy. They represent humility, flexibility, and our capacity to advance in life. Pain in the knees is often a message, a sign that we are carrying too much weight, clinging to old emotions, or resisting our next step. By listening to this wisdom, we can learn to see our knees as the beginning of a spiritual path. Unlocking their energy is not about fixing a body part, but about transforming our entire journey, allowing us to move through life with a lighter, more conscious and liberated spirit. From an energetic view, knees are not simple joints that support the body's weight. They are reservoirs where emotional memory related to flexibility, humility, and the capacity to advance accumulates. Every time we resist change, cling to a situation, or refuse to yield, that tension is recorded not only in the mind, but also in the knees. The pain that appears, the stiffness we feel, are like echoes of the soul telling us, it is time to let go, to learn to bend without breaking. In symbolic psychology, knees represent the ability to bow before what is greater than us, life, destiny, the divine. It is not about submission, but about recognizing that not everything is under our control. The person who refuses to bend their knees, even symbolically, often faces internal blockages, excessive pride, fear of losing power, and an inability to accept vulnerability. Over time, these emotions crystallize and manifest as physical ailments, as if the body is shouting what the mind has decided to silence. On the other hand, when we learn to release the stagnant energy in the knees, something powerful occurs. We recover fluidity, not only in our movements but also in our decisions and in the way we walk toward our objectives. Free knees are a symbol of a spirit willing to move, to flow with the twists of life, to accept that flexibility is not weakness, but a form of wisdom. The masters of Eastern medicine understood this principle well. For them, knees were intimately related to the flow of qi, the vital energy that runs through the entire body. If that flow encountered a blockage in this area, the individual would not only experience physical discomfort, but also emotional stagnation, fear of moving forward, difficulty making decisions, and accumulated resentment. This is why practices like Tai Chi or Qigong not only strengthen the joints, but also seek to restore their energetic softness, like polishing a stone until it shines again. A fascinating aspect of knees is that they always work in pairs. One knee is never alone. It relies on the other to walk, run, and jump. This duality speaks to us of balance, yielding and supporting, advancing and stopping, letting go and receiving. It is a constant reminder that life is not built from extremes, but from the art of harmony. And when one of them fails, it is as if it is warning us that we have broken that inner equilibrium, that we have forgotten to listen to the sacred dance between firmness and flexibility. On a deeper level, knees are also guardians of personal destiny. When they are blocked, it is as if the path becomes heavy, full of doubts and insecurities. But when they are free, light, and fluid, we feel we can move forward with confidence, even in the midst of the unknown. Thus, releasing the emotional energy of the knees is not only an act of physical healing, but a ritual of opening toward the future. In conclusion, knees are not simple bony hinges, but subtle keys that connect our body with the ability to flow in life. Listening to them, caring for them, and unblocking them is to open oneself to a lighter existence, where each step becomes a conscious act of humility and inner power. If we have understood that knees are guardians of flexibility, we can now deepen how to consciously release that accumulated energy, because it is not enough to know that our resistances and pains reside there. True power lies in transforming that knowledge into a living experience. Imagine that each of your knees is like an ancient door that has remained closed for years. Behind these doors are memories, emotions, and lessons we have not wanted to face. The pain, the stiffness, or even constant fatigue are like rust on the lock, warning us that it is time to open up. How do we do it? Through small rituals that combine awareness, movement, and emotional attention. In many spiritual traditions, bending the knees has been a gesture of sacred humility. The ancients did it when they prayed, gave thanks, or surrendered to life itself. It was not about submission, but about remembering that strength is found in recognizing what is greater than us. In fact, every time you gently bend your knees, even just by taking a deep breath and letting the weight of your body rest on them, you are telling your being, I accept, I flow, I trust. One of the first steps to unblocking the energy of the knees is to learn to listen to what they hold. Sit in silence, place your hands gently on them, and ask them, what burdens am I carrying here that I do not allow myself to release? It may seem like a symbolic gesture, but the body responds to conscious attention. Often, when holding this internal dialogue, forgotten memories emerge, a childhood fear, an unforgiven betrayal, a stage in life when we refuse to yield. Acknowledging these imprints is like opening the windows of a closed room. The air begins to renew itself. The second step involves conscious movement. Each bend of the knees, each stretch, should not be done mechanically, but as a meditative act. Imagine that as you bend them, you are also making your mind and spirit more flexible. As you straighten them, feel that you are regaining direction and strength. These movements, performed slowly and with intention, become a dance of healing. And the more you practice them, the more you will notice that not only do your knees feel lighter, but so does your relationship with daily life. The energetic practices of the East offer us another key: directed breathing. As you inhale, visualize a flow of light entering through your crown and descending toward your knees. As you exhale, imagine the pain, stiffness, and trapped emotions dissolving like gray smoke leaving your body. This visualization is not a simple mental game, but a powerful mechanism to teach the unconscious to release what has been trapped in the physical body. Another profound aspect of the knees is that they are inflection points in the soul's journey. They represent moments of rupture, those in which we must choose between clinging to the past or daring to move forward. When someone suffers constant pain in them, life may be telling them, it is time to make a decision, to change course, to accept the inevitable movement of destiny. Therefore, unblocking the knees is also an unblocking of the will, of the capacity to act. Knees are also linked to humility, and without humility there is no evolution. Stiffness in them speaks of pride, of an ego that fears losing control. But the act of bending them reminds us that there is more power in flexibility than in rigidity. The bamboo cane survives the storm because it bends, while the rigid oak may break. Similarly, the human being who knows how to yield at the right moments becomes a master of flow. Finally, the ritual of releasing the knees is a reminder that we are not condemned to carry the same emotions forever. We can choose to let them go, transform them, and walk with a renewed step. And in that walking, each freed knee becomes a lit torch, illuminating the path toward a life that is lighter, more fluid, and more conscious. In conclusion, unlocking the emotional energy of the knees is not just a therapeutic act, but a living metaphor for the human journey. To bend without breaking, to advance without fear, to surrender without losing dignity. The knees teach us that true power is not in hardening ourselves against life, but in learning to dance with it. Though often forgotten, knees are silent teachers. They remind us with every step that the path of life is not traveled with rigidity, but with a dance between strength and flexibility. Now that we have understood their symbolic and energetic depth, it is time to translate this wisdom into practical advice that anyone can integrate into their daily life. These are not simple physical exercises, but keys to unlocking the dormant energy within us. The first piece of advice is to learn to listen. Every discomfort, every tension in the knees is a message that your body and your unconscious want to convey to you. Dedicate at least a minute each day to place your hands on them. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what am I resisting? What am I not accepting? What do I need to let go? You may not receive an immediate answer in words, but your body will respond with sensations, emotions, or intuitions that will guide you. Practice daily conscious movements of bending and extending your knees. Do it slowly with measured breath, as if each movement were a dialogue with life. As you bend them, imagine that you are surrendering to the flow of the universe. As you stretch them, feel that you are reclaiming your dignity and your ability to move forward. This simple exercise, performed with intention, strengthens not only the physical joint, but also your flexible spirit. Use your breath as a tool for unblocking. Inhale deeply, visualizing the golden energy of life descending toward your knees. Exhale, imagining that old resentments, fears, or resistances dissolve like dark smoke fading into the air. Do this several times, especially when you feel stiffness in your body or your emotions. Each morning or each night, give thanks to your knees. It may sound strange, but gratitude generates energetic openness. Tell them mentally, "Thank you for supporting me, for carrying me, for reminding me of the value of humility and flexibility." This gesture of recognition changes your relationship with your own body and transforms the energy housed there. Transform your walking into a meditation. It is not about arriving faster, but about feeling how each step connects you with the earth. Observe how the knees participate in this movement, and how by moving freely, they teach you the importance of advancing with confidence. The conscious step is a reminder that life is lived instant by instant, step by step. The knees invite us to remember that true greatness lies not in imposing ourselves, but in knowing how to surrender when necessary. Practice humility every day. Listen more, learn from others, allow life to surprise you. In doing so, your knees will not only strengthen physically, but will become the reflection of a spirit that flows without fear. Often, pain in the knees is linked to unresolved emotional burdens, guilt, resentment, frustrations. Do a release exercise. Write on a piece of paper what you feel is weighing you down. Fold it and place it under your knees as you breathe deeply. Then, burn the paper or give it to the earth as a symbol of releasing what you no longer need to carry. Ultimately, knees are more than simple joints. They are spiritual teachers that show us how to relate to life. Through listening, flexibility, gratitude, and conscious movement, we can transform not only physical pain, but also the invisible wounds that limit our walk. Every piece of advice shared here is a key, and by applying them, you will discover that walking is not just moving from one point to another, but a sacred act of liberation and connection. We have journeyed together along a seldom explored path, that of the knees as guardians of emotional energy and as symbols of our relationship with life. They are not simple bony hinges that allow us to bend and extend our legs. They are sacred temples that reflect our humility, our flexibility before the universe, and our ability to advance with lightness or, conversely, with resistance and pain. Every discomfort, every stiffness, every creak is a hidden message, a whisper from the soul inviting us to stop and ask ourselves, what am I carrying? What am I refusing to let go? What pride or fear prevents me from bending to the wisdom of life? Understanding this mystery gives us immense power, the power to transform our body into a map of self-knowledge. Our knees remind us that greatness is not in always imposing ourselves, but in knowing when to yield, when to flow, and when to surrender to be reborn stronger. Where we believe we find pain, we actually find a threshold toward healing. If you learn to listen to your knees to release their energetic blockages, to thank them for supporting your walk, you will discover that your life also becomes lighter. Each step then ceases to be a mechanical movement and becomes a conscious act, a silent prayer to the universe. Moving forward becomes a ritual, and each knee becomes a reminder that authentic strength is born from the union between humility and inner power. Today, more than ever, the call is to reconcile with our body, to see in it not a simple vehicle, but a divine messenger that holds in every joint a secret of wisdom. And the knees, as the threshold of movement and progress, are patient teachers waiting for us to finally understand them. So the next time you feel pain or stiffness, do not see it as a punishment, but as an opportunity. Your body is showing you the exact place where your soul wants to grow.